Hello again, everybody. Tom Reed here with Allison Lucan at Nationwide Arena, where he had just watched the San Jose Sharks 3-2 win over the Blue Jackets, ending the Blue Jackets' 12-game point streak. They had won 8 and lost 4 in either overtime or shootout. And this was a game, Allison, where I think that the bodies were willing, but the mind and the execution just weren't there today for the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I mean, and we can remember back even just to last year, this is a team that just doesn't really start well in these 1 p.m. games. And I think it bit them. They had trouble getting through the neutral zone. They had trouble completing passes. It wasn't until that last 3-minute burst that it felt like you saw anything of high energy play from the group.
Yeah, this was a game where I think mentally, as much as physically, this team just wasn't there. And I don't know if it's just tired, this whole streak with playing with so many young kids and players from the minors up that caught up with them. But, the first 2 goals of the game, they allowed Sonny Milano in the first goal. It was one of those situations where the power play was coming to an end. You could hear Elvis Merzlikins tackling on the stick. He goes behind the Sharks goal. One thing you can't do is have a puck come out and be intercepted or tipped away. Sure enough, they get a breakaway and score.
Yep.
Then they have a slow line change that leads to the second goal. It just seemed like a night where the thinking caps weren't screwed on tight.
Absolutely, and that goes back to the passing and everything we just talked about. They looked slow. Yeah. They didn't look sharp in all the ways you described it. Elvis played, I thought, okay, particularly he's a player who's admitted he doesn't like afternoon games.
Right.
He's the only one. I mean, look, they weren't going to win every game.
Right. Yeah, without a question. The one player that certainly played well today and has just been playing well all season is Zach Werenski. Mm-hmm. You and Porty are here almost every day, wherever this team is. One of you two are there. In the past years, I can always remember having to have this conversation with Zach. Your season seems to be going highs and lows. Mm-hmm. You've seen him more than I do. I just see a guy who's been very steady, and if anything, his game's going up. 2 more goals today. Oh. What a season.
Yeah, and I put this out on Twitter. He just looks like if he decides this is what he's going to do, that is what happens. Yeah. It's a quiet confidence that really suits how we know him off the ice, and it's just, this is why he's been such a special player. This is why he was a Calder finalist his first year. He's playing at a really, really high level.
In a game like this where there was so much of a struggle, and both teams, it wasn't just the Blue Jackets. The Sharks weren't very good either. They're a big team, and as Torch was saying, they keep you to the outside. They really don't have a lot of great shots. One thing you hope for maybe in a game like this is maybe your special teams can come through. The PK, did they even take a penalty?
They took 1 penalty.
Okay, but I guess the point is they did have a couple of power plays. We told you how the one ended, but boy, there wasn't a lot going on. That looked like a power play from October and November.
Yeah, and listen, there's no excuse now to say it's the new guys, because the new guys have been out here for a while. It was very disorienting, disjointed. Yeah. It made the Sharks penalty kill look like often the Blue Jackets penalty kill looks like aggressive, playing like they're playing with the extra man. It just was not a good special teams day.
Yeah, and Elvis Merzlikins spoke after the game. It's been an interesting 5 or 6 days, 6 or 7 days for him. He's gone from a guy that was playing once a week, once every 2 weeks, to now he's got to carry this team. Seemed to be in good spirits. Interesting to listen to him talk. What were some of the things in the 4 or 5 minutes that we spoke to him that jumped out for you?
I mean, I think that he uses very interesting terms because he's still learning English wholly. And something he had said earlier was that he felt out of his skin. Well, now he feels he's in his skin. He feels comfortable in the role. I can't remember his exact wording, maybe you do, but it was interesting. He basically said, if I make a mistake, I know it's okay.
Right.
And it really, and that's not to say he wants to make the mistakes, of course, but it seems to be freeing him mentally, as we all kind of thought, to know that he can now play his game.
Right.
And I think we're seeing that.
Yeah, we talked about this on the podcast yesterday, just kind of the interesting role reversals. You had a guy that rarely played before in Korpisalo, who was now playing all the time, and then you had a guy like Elvis who was used to playing all the time with his club team back in Switzerland, who was reduced to just a very much of almost like a spectator.
Right.
And I think he's looked very comfortable in the 3 games. Again, he gave up a couple goals today. The last goal, you couldn't do anything. The one was a breakaway.
Yeah.
And I thought he made some saves when they were down 2-1.
Yeah.
Folks, they did not have their second shot on goal in the period till like 3 minutes left in the period. And at that point, they had only had 5 shot attempts.
Right.
So Elvis made some good saves to kind of keep them, give them a chance to stay in it. The Sharks do end up going up 3-1, but then Werenski answers right back.
Yeah, and I think too, the other thing that's important to say is we had to ask Elvis a lot because we hadn't talked to him
Sure,
after his
yeah.
2 wins, and he is still very focused on. There's a lot more to do. There's a lot of work he still has to do. He's not satisfied, as he said. I still have more losses than wins.
Yep.
But yeah, the team did not, like I said, did not turn on those afterburners until too late.
Yeah, it was interesting to talk to him. We'll be writing about this a little bit later. You've probably heard it by now. Maybe if you watched the news, was that he's extremely close to his mom. He lost his dad at a very young age. And I know that it meant a whole lot to him to win that first game. First of all, he says his mom's been staying up. I don't know what the time difference is.
It's like
got to be
6 or
6 or
7
7 hours.
yeah.
He claims that she's staying up and watching these games in the middle of the night, but she answered the phone in tears when they finally got to talk, and he said he got the puck. He's going to send it, UPS Express?
UPS Express, because it took so long to get it in the first place.
Right, so it's always something with Elvis. One last point here. We rarely talk a lot about the opposition, but this probably was the last game you'll see of Joe Thornton. Surefire Hall of Famer, 40-year-old player in this building tonight, and I hope fans that were here, told their kids or their younger nephews or whatever, hey, watch this guy because this is the last time you're going to see one of the great players. And he really hasn't done a whole lot this season. I think 1 goal, 15-6 coming in. Sure enough,
That's right.
He makes a great play on the game-winning goal, which was a kind of a dump in. They retrieved the puck and just those magical hands to set up. I think it was LeBanc for the winner.
Yep.
So I hope fans have gotten a chance to appreciate Joe Thornton over the years. Just a couple of thoughts to close it out with him.
Yeah, I mean he's part of the Mount Rushmore for that team. And
without question.
When we talk about characters in this game, this is a guy who quietly in his own way who he is, what he looks like.
Right.
He's done some really fun things off the ice, and particularly when you talk about this isn't the 100-goal scorer guy. So this is a guy who brings. I always appreciate players who show that you can be great in ways other than just scoring goals. And that's what I like about him.
One of the great passers of the puck. He's 40, the beard's like 25.
Yeah.
But anyway, so now the team goes out west, a big trip out west. Again, maybe this is a bad example after the San Jose game tonight, but I think there's winnable games out there. It's LA, San Jose.
LA, Anaheim, San Jose, Vegas.
And then you're hooking up with the team in Vegas, right? You'll be there for there.
Yep.
Aaron will be on the whole trip. Make sure you keep following us, keep reading us on The Athletic. We appreciate your patronage. For Allison Lucan, Tom Reed. Blue Jackets fall 3-2 tonight to the San Jose Sharks.
Tom, you want to go watch some girls hockey?
Sure, let's do
Some
it.
girls hockey on May 9th, which is awesome.
Hit the button.